The moment of truth is here. Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men #1 hit stands today. I've not gotten an opportunity to read it yet, but of course I'll be reviewing it here on the channel like I do a lot of books, so make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Look for that when it comes out. But this is a big deal for Marvel. I want to talk about just how much they are writing on this X-Men relaunch. X-Men really has been in the toilet for a number of years. Jonathan Hickman started this House of X, Powers of X thing where they made this Krakoa Island where it was really weird. It didn't feel like a superhero book anymore. Hickman's ideas were interesting, and I really liked that first hardcover of it. But when it actually got into the full X-Men universe, and you had all these like Vita Ayala books and random other books that just like didn't seem to go anywhere fast and were a complete mess to even try to follow. It was something that just fell off really, really fast. Even Jonathan Hickman just couldn't really finish his own story. He noped out of Marvel for a little bit. Of course, came back with Ultimate Spider-Man, which is selling like hotcakes because they just give the fans what they want there. Peter and MJ married. It's not that hard. And X-Men really needed a reboot because it just didn't feel like X-Men anymore after he left. It was a sales disaster. Everything was down in the toilets for Marvel. Not good stuff. And so last year, Tom Brevoort announced that they were going to do a full line relaunch this year, starting in July. A all-in effort, as you might think. It's really interesting. I've been talking on the channel about how every company is just seeming to do these #1 relaunches, hoping they can kind of reboot interest in the comic industry in 2024 in this back half, and we'll see how it works. Now, these all new #1s are deceptive for everybody. Of course, what happens is that the #1 issues get all these weird variant covers. Like you have to order 100 copies as a comic shop to get one copy of the weird exclusive variant, and speculators buy those. So what happens is like a lot of copies sit, but in back rooms at these comic shops. While these variants, make the market look like they're artificially boosted. And we see it all taper back off in issues 2, issues 3, really hits by 5 or 6 that, whether the run's good or not, if people are still reading or not. But what almost always happens with these #1s is really the jumping off point was prior to the #1 for the actual readers. And so people just like go, I'll just give up on X-Men now, and they don't come back to comic shops. That's been happening more and more with all these different runs. We've got, of course, this one happening. We've got DC All In with their new reboot after their last reboot. DC reboots so much is ridiculous. We had Thundercats #1 from Dynamite earlier this year, which blew the doors off expectations with all their variant covers. It kind of just tapered back down, and nobody's talking about it anymore. We have Ninja Turtles did the same thing, rebooted with an all-new #1 just now with Jason Aaron. Again, they posted record numbers for the #1, but we'll see how that keeps going. And then, of course, Boom Studios is doing the same with Power Rangers. So a lot of this stuff is just going crazy. Every single company is trying the reboot strategy right now. Now, this is a review of Jed MacKay's X-Men. I'm going to try not to spoil Gail Simone's for myself until I do my review and actually read it. But Jed MacKay's X-Men was weird. You got this weird pink-haired person. You got this situation where it spins out of Krakoa and like references Krakoa too much. It really wasn't a restart, and people found this to be pretty lackluster. People were like, you got Cyclops, but what's going on here? It was just not that exciting of a book, and so that's what they led with. But everybody knows that Uncanny is like the main book, and this is like kind of the B book. Now, I like Ryan Stegman's art quite a bit. I think his art both has a lot of detail, and it also has that like comic-y feel to it that doesn't feel like that like modern realism. So I do grant him that. I hope the pink-haired character dies, of course. But overall, it was just kind of a meh book. Fueling this meh and kind of getting some comic anger was the fact that the last page actually was just a QR code. And so they did this little gimmicky thing, and apparently they're doing this in Uncanny too, where you have to scan a QR code to get the last page of the book to find out what's going on, like with the overarching plot or whatever, rather than just read the book. Dumb idea. But apparently they're trying to stop piracy. I don't understand it, though, because the QR code scan ended up on the internet. I saw it actually before I actually read the book. Ridiculous stuff. but it's a stupid idea. I think Marvel's trying to get people to get digitally in on things and then try to get people on a mailing list to try to, because I think comic shops are on their way out, and Marvel's trying to capture all that readership to make sure that they stay through Marvel Unlimited or whatever product they're doing, is my analysis on this. But today's the big day. Uncanny X-Men is out. We've got a review from AIPT. They actually put they say it's great, 9 out of 10. I'm not reading it, but that's what the mainstream media is saying. We got Comics Watch down here. What do they say? 10 out of 10. So writing, storyline, art, all of it's fantastic. Yeah, Comics Beat's got a round table on the whole situation. So they're talking about it as well. What do you think of this week's batch of Marvel Comics? X-Men #1. Hey, team. Welcome to it. I think we're going to be okay with this title. Solid reintroduction to team members. Gail Simone has an ear for individual dialogue. It works for this issue. Solid start for the X team. I'm obsessed with this Simone quote from the back. We want this book to feel warm like a campfire. I think it's true, too. And then what is a difference putting an A-list talent on a book makes? I liked adjectiveless X-Men well enough, but it felt very safe and familiar. This book knows immediately what it is and feels different and fresh from everything else on the X line right now. Gail Simone has a clear voice for each character and vision for what she wants the book to be about. Reminded me of Chris Claremont in the best ways. There's some Claremont era tonal whiplash from neo-Nazis threatening a concentration. Oh, no. Oh, boy. So it's going to be immediately going to be this. Well, I hope not. And somebody said it was not the book for me. This is a dissenting voice. Probably just to have a dissenting voice. There's plot elements that rubbed me wrong. Tonal whiplash didn't work for me. But for the most part, you can see the media is shilling for this very, very hard, and they need to, because this is the last real relaunch, I think, that they have in the playbook before it's too late. But that's that. So Tom Brevoort did say the message is the premise back in the day on X-Men. So expect that there's going to be heavy political tones to it. And I don't know where that was going to come from. There's so many X books that maybe it's going to be in e-viewings version of the exceptional X-Men or whatever it is. Maybe that's going to be where the politics really line in. Saying that there's a neo-Nazi plot to start is kind of eye-rolly, given it's election season. We know what that means when these people say this kind of thing. We know it's going to be a stand-in for Christians and Trump supporters because that's just what they do. That's always kind of a cringy thing. But I'll have to look at it before I judge it on that level, and I will. I'm not gonna speculate too much. My one speculation for me on this is that Gail Simone's going to play this pretty safe. They're already saying Claremont references, already saying very familiar. I see Gail posting about it all the time. Most of what she posts about is the relationship between Rogue and Gambit, which is a fan favorite relationship sort of thing. And so if she's bringing this back and actually making the characters in that classic sort of element again, I think she's going to have a success here. And we'll see how it goes. But I think personally that from what I know of Gail Simone, she's going to play it pretty safe. She's going to lean into nostalgia. She's going to lean into what people loved about the Claremont run, because she's talked about that as well. She's posted pictures of herself with Chris Claremont leading up to this as well. And I think because of that, we'll see a decent X-Men out of this. Now, does that mean the rest of the line is going to be that way? I don't know. But I think Uncanny X-Men is probably going to be a pretty okay book as far as things go. And I think Marvel needs that. And hopefully it does turn out great for them, because otherwise this is the whole brand. This is a lot of pressure on this book. And we'll see how it is as it goes along. It's so important, and I can't overstate that enough. This relaunch for X-Men, after a failed relaunch before with the Krakoa stuff, is really trying to bring people back into comic shops, really trying to get people back in the habit of reading again. And Marvel doesn't have that a lot across the line. The only thing they have winning is Ultimate Spider-Man right now. DC's in even worse shape, but the industry needs a strong Marvel. Otherwise, they really don't have anything. When they were having problems with Marvel Now and all that in 2016, when they had all their replacement characters going on, comic shops saw their sales take major hits. People actually come in for a good Uncanny X-Men run to the comic shop, and that rising tide lifts all the boats there. So there is a lot of pressure on this. This is a super important day for Marvel. It's going to mean a lot. We'll see how the sales are. I'm going to talk with comic shops and to be reporting on that with you, because these people don't actually report their sales anymore. And we'll see what happens. All right. Leave a comment down below. Do you think this is going to be a good run? Do you think it's going to work for Marvel Comics? Do you think it's something too little, too late? Let me know. Love to hear from you. Hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my book, The Hidden Emperor graphic novel, on Kickstarter. If you love classic Marvel Comics, you're going to love this, guys. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us so hard so far, and for supporting indie comics. It means a lot to me. You guys are making this go, and that link's in the description below. Grab The Hidden Emperor, or grab, if you're new, the complete Ayla Rin adventures, so you can catch up on everything. This is going to be an awesome brand going forward, and we'll see you soon.